order for Let's Spill the Tea. Aw, big girls don't cry. Oh, you started recording.
It started recording the second you did that.
Shout out to Hypen.
Well, hi. What's up?
I literally just saw you like 3 hours ago.
I know. The boyfriends finally met.
They did. My boyfriend's here.
Mine's back at his house doing homework.
I tried to get him to say hi and he told me no.
Oh, damn.
Sadly.
Lame. Well, do we really want to spill the tea this week? Can I legally spill the tea?
So I morally cannot spill my tea.
Oh, valid.
Legally, you probably shouldn't spill yours.
Just because I don't. Basically, let's just say employment is hard. That's my tea this week.
Employment is hard. My tea is that I started my master's yesterday.
Woo!
I already
I'm
hate
clapping.
it. I already hate it.
What are you drinking?
Sonic cherry limeade.
Damn, 2 weeks in a row. I'm just drinking
just
water.
like that.
I'm drinking water. I was considering stopping at Starbucks or Dunkin', depending on like he has a Dunkin' right around the corner from his house. So I was like considering going there, but Starbucks would have been out of the way and I was just tired and I wanted to get home. So I didn't, but I wanted to get an espresso drink so I could like I'm obligated to say that I'm depresso espresso.
After we finish recording, I might make Paul go to Wawa with me and get a milkshake.
What kind of milkshake?
I mean, since it's a Wawa milkshake, probably just vanilla.
Valid. I mean, their like peppermint cookies and cream one was really good for the winter.
I don't like peppermint.
Oh, shit. Fair enough.
I don't know.
All right. Well, we're both feeling like shit, so we're not going to banter as much in the beginning. He is like about to pass out. Hi, Paul.
They're waving to each other right now.
Yeah, he's just laying on Corey's bed at the moment. So,
You want to say hi?
Periwinkle. Periwinkle? What the fuck?
That's his thing.
Oh, you see, the things Jackson says, the weirdest things just come out of his mouth.
Honestly, valid. Anyway, we're not going to banter that much today. We both don't feel good.
Yeah, I have a lot of shit I gotta do tomorrow, sadly. I have to wake up early for it, too. And then I might have to take my mom to her doctor's appointment afterwards. So, yeah.
Poopy.
Anyway, Corey. Corey, I think I have to do my first two-parter.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to wait until next week to hear the end of this story. How's that gonna make you feel?
Sad. I don't like being left on cliffhangers. I'm like the type of person that needs to know immediately.
Yeah, well, we are covering my first serial killer today. Do you want to take a wild guess who it is?
If you tell me it's fucking John Wayne Gacy, I will kill myself. I hate clowns.
No, but that'll be another week. That'll actually also be another two-parter.
H.H. Holmes.
No, he's on my list to cover, though.
Everyone
knows this serial killer. You definitely do.
Then I don't know, to be honest.
One of the most infamously loved serial killers.
Infamously loved?
Yeah.
Loved in what way?
Like, people were falling in love with him.
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy. One of these days, I was telling my mom about this. She was like, "Oh, do it for Valentine's Day next year." The science behind people falling in love with criminals.
Oh, that's like a psychology thing.
Yeah, but I feel like it would fall more under my precedent than yours.
Oh, it's definitely like under yours, yeah.
But I'm thinking like I want to cover that one day.
Yeah. We actually talked about that in my last forensic psych class.
Did
it's
you?
pretty interesting. I'm not gonna say anything, but it's
no.
Pretty
I want to do my research on it because I don't really know too much about it other than like an episode in one podcast I've listened to.
Yeah, it's like 100% psychology.
Oh yeah, but I want to cover it one day.
So
we're gonna talk about Ted Bundy, which this one was fun to research, to put it lightly. I will warn you, there are a lot of names that are going to be thrown out to you because I am discussing victims, I am discussing family, I'm discussing not accessories, but like people in association. So if you can't follow along, tell me to slow down and like recover.
Okay.
Like if you're like, who the fuck is that person? I
got you.
Because like even like some people get mentioned later on again.
I'll try.
So it's I realized These notes are old notes, so it's not in the way I do them now. So, like, it's a little disorganized, so I apologize. Again, we're going out of my old notes right now, and I'm adding on as we go.
Yeah.
All right, so Ted Bundy. Theodore Robert Cowell was born November 24th, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont. His mother, Eleanor Louise Cowell, gave birth to him at the Elizabeth Lund Home for Unwed Mothers, because that was a thing. I hate that. I really don't like that.
That's sad.
Like, go to a normal unless you can't afford a normal hospital, but like that could have been the
Yeah,
case. So his
probably
father's
was.
identity, his bio father's identity is unknown, but his original birth certificate states paternity to Lloyd Marshall, a U.S. Air Force vet, but it has not been confirmed. So we don't
What
really, he
about,
doesn't know.
like, he never wanted to do a DNA test?
This was the 40s, love.
Like, when he was older?
I believe he died before DNA was big enough for that.
Maybe. Honestly, I forget when DNA, like, sampling
yeah,
became,
no,
like, big.
he was executed 89.
Oh, then yeah.
It
Never
was
mind.
90s, I believe, is when like the scientific advances
Yeah,
started.
genetic testing happened in, like, the 90s.
Yeah.
So he just barely missed it. I would have loved to know who his biological father was.
Yeah, especially like the reason this Lloyd Marshall was listed, it was like weird. Like he was like a neighbor to his mother, and it is rumored that they were having an affair. I don't freaking know.
Interesting.
It's listed that his paternity is Lloyd Marshall, but from some of the research I was doing, we don't know. That no one, he has not claimed paternity. I'm sure he's not paying child support.
Probably not.
Yeah. But yeah, and then Eleanor claimed she met Jack Worthington, a US war vet who abandoned her son after he found out she was pregnant. So it could be a Lloyd. It could be apparently US veterans.
I was
Is
just gonna
her
say that
go-to.
apparently U.S. veterans are her type, apparently.
Apparently. But no biofather was ever confirmed, as many men by those names never lived near Eleanor. Sorry, I'm wrong about the Lloyd Marshall thing. Yeah, no one lived over there. Anyone she claimed was the father never lived around them, but that doesn't mean anything. You gotta like,
You can
I think
travel.
it's like, yeah, yeah. By the time Bundy was conceived, no one that she ever claimed lived in the area. But she could be lying, she could be telling the truth. We don't know. So, excuse me. Sorry, I just had a Coke.
That was like me at Applebee's earlier. I
I'm
have
going
to burp. 30 seconds later.
Should I
3 seconds
censor my
later.
burp? Because that was disgusting.
Yes.
Just so like the banter is still there, I'm gonna censor out my burp. So in the first 3 years of his life, he lived in Roxborough, which is a neighborhood in Philadelphia, with his maternal grandparents, Samuel Necht Cowell and Eleanor Miriam Longstreet. Yeah, basically his mom was like, we're moving in with the grandparents.
Okay.
And because again, she wasn't married. Now she has a son she has to care for. Very,
she just
very
needed somewhere to
difficult.
go.
Exactly. So, I'm gonna, because his mother and grandmother are both Eleanor's, um, I just have his mother listed as Louise. So if you hear
Okay.
me say Louise, that is his mother. I'm just gonna
Okay.
clarify that now. So they raised their grandson as their own to avoid the backlash of wedlock and claimed Louise. And basically, they did the thing. Louise is his older sister and
Oh,
not
like
his
the
mother.
Andy Mack thing.
Yes, like Andy Mack. But yeah, Bundy didn't even know that his older
great.
sister was his mother. So it literally is an Andy Mack situation.
Oh, great.
He found out
Just
later
lie to
in
the
life.
child.
Yeah. He found out in 1969 because he found a copy of his birth certificate.
Yeah.
Which, like, I get, like, they were trying to avoid the stigma in the area.
Yeah.
Because she was an unmarried mother in the 40s, 50s. Which he didn't find out until he was 23. Unless I wrote that wrong, and I meant to say 59, but no matter what, I still feel like that's a very long time.
Very long time to not know.
He ended up resenting his mother because, like, she kept this secret from him and never told him who his dad was, especially because it might be a situation where his mother doesn't know.
Yeah.
Remember, she claimed 2 different men.
She could just be like, it's one of them. I don't know.
Exactly. So when he was young, he showed some disturbing behaviors. Um, his mother's younger sister, Julia Cowell, recalled waking up to be surrounded by knives from the kitchen and 3-year-old Bundy standing there smiling.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, he just put like knives all around his sleeping aunt.
For what?
He was
Okay.
3. I don't know. I don't. Ugh. So Bundy was actually close with his grandfather, but later on, many family members claimed that Samuel was a tyrannical bully who beat his wife and dog, swung
Oh,
cats by their tails, and expressed many racist and xenophobic attitudes.
great.
So he
A
from
great person to be close to.
yeah, and as everyone knows, Bundy's main target, women,
Yeah.
young women. So, but he loved his grandfather. So in 1950, Louise changed her last name from Cowell to Nelson and left Philadelphia to live with her cousins in Tacoma, Washington. There she met Johnny Culpeper Bundy in 1951, and later that year they married. So Bundy felt he had a dad now, being a little 7, 8-year-old, whatever he is at this time, right?
Yeah.
7, 8. No,
Or,
sorry, 5-ish. He's about 5. My bad. I don't know
yeah.
my years. I don't know my math.
Me either. It's okay. I totally would have gone along with it.
I know, and you did.
Yeah, I just accepted it.
So, Johnny actually ended up adopting Ted, and he had 4 more children with Louise. So now Bundy is not an only child,
Yeah.
which scares me.
But he's the oldest.
He is the oldest, yes. So Bundy felt distant from his adoptive father, and and even though Johnny treated him as his own, like he loved Bundy, he loved his son. I mean, he also is Bundy, so that sounds weird to say it like that. But I know.
It's okay.
Sorry. A childhood neighbor, forgive me if I say this wrong, Sanoy Holt, Sanoi, described Bundy as a bully and a mean-spirited kid growing up. He apparently watched him light a cat on fire. Yeah.
Okay, so see, like, when I was a kid, me and my childhood best friend would capture worms and, like, put them in a container and chop them in half.
You guys can't see my face, but I'm just frozen.
So, like, like, if you're a kid that likes to play outside, like, sometimes you'll, like, dig up the dirt and, like, you'll make, like, mud pies, or, like, you'll take the worms
Yeah,
and you'll
but
play
I
with the
didn't kill
worms.
the fucking worms. Like,
Oh, no, because worms, like, certain worms regenerate their heads, and we wanted to see, like, them regenerate their heads.
that's disgusting.
So, like, and to be fair, me and my childhood best friend was a boy. And, like,
Yeah,
not to be
fair.
like that, like, but when you're a kid, boys typically have less, like, standards to be prissy proper. So
Okay, but did he light cats on fire? Is the question.
that's what I was gonna say. We would cut worms in half, but we never lit cats on fire.
Exactly. So he would also lure other children in the woods and terrorize them. He would take their clothes and he built makeshift traps around the neighborhood. One child fell into a tiger trap of his and
What?
sliced her leg open from it. Like I said, he had just traps around the neighborhood. He wanted to catch people. I don't freaking know.
That's horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine
So
you're
Bundy
walking home
told-
from school and you fall into a tiger trap.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened. Is they were just walking home after getting off the bus or however they did school then, and just got caught in it. Well, Bundy told reporters that when he never knew why people wanted to be friends with him, as he felt he was unable to understand interpersonal relationships, which after like researching multiple serial killers, aka I think I've done like 2 or 3 at this point, including Bundy. A lot of them have antisocial behaviors.
A lot of them are, like, not diagnosed with anything, but a lot of them are psychopaths or
Yes.
sociopaths.
I actually do have one where he was diagnosed with many antisocial behaviors and overall a lot of mental health issues, but being almost 80 years ago.
Yeah. A lot of the time it was, like, not diagnosed, and it, like, they got so bad because they left these, like, psychopaths untreated with anything. And
Mm-hmm.
they just like threw them to the world and was like, here.
As a teenager, he seemed to become more vile, so like he was doing a lot more weird things. Like he was peeking in windows and caught stealing. Eh.
Right?
He was arrested at least twice in high school on suspicion of burglary and motor vehicle theft. But as we know, many juvenile records get erased once they turn 18 due to customary laws in certain areas. Washington did have these laws. So his juvenile record, gone. So he didn't have a criminal record once he turned 18, technically. He enrolled in University of Puget Sound for 1 year before transferring to University of Washington. There he met Diane Edwards. This name is important. Do not forget it this week, next week.
Okay.
He became very romantically involved with and claimed she was the only woman I ever truly loved. Okay. Okay, buddy.
What?
That's
Sounds.
what he claimed.
That sounds. All right.
Well, she was a wealthy girl and attractive woman with long, dark hair. I specifically say she has long, dark hair for a very specific reason. We will know later on if you do not know the Bundy case, when 90% of people do. So, early 1968, he dropped out of UW. He focused on working minimum wage jobs. He volunteered at the Seattle office for Nelson Rockefeller's presidential campaign. Wow. I'm really struggling with the talking today, huh? He was Andrew Fletcher's driver and bodyguard during his campaign for Lieutenant Governor of Washington State. I've never heard of Lieutenant Governor, only Governor. So
I don't know what that is.
I don't really know what the difference is. I'm gonna be so honest. I guess a lieutenant would be like secondary, kind of like president, vice president.
I guess. That's weird that they need that though.
Yeah. So Edwards actually graduated in 68 and left for San Francisco. And August, Bundy attended the 1968 Republican National Convention in Miami. Edwards actually ended up ending the relationship and left to go to her home in California. So she was like, listen, I'm not doing this long distance. Goodbye. I'm going to go start my life, which, go queen.
Icon.
Due to his immaturity and lack of ambition, that's literally the other reason she left him.
Yeah. He had
It was
no drive.
He literally dropped out of college and was like, I'm just going to work many minimum wage jobs and live. I'm like,
never have any ambitions in my life.
Yeah. He didn't really have a goal, it sounded like. So he felt devastated, obviously, because he was so in love with her and they were like together for a while. So he traveled to Colorado and continued to go east to just spend time with relatives because his family was in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So while he was in Philadelphia, he enrolled in Temple University for 1 semester just to get some more credits, which, like, you know what? Maybe he's learning from this breakup. Like, okay, I need to like have some goals here. So he would travel to New York City during his studies where his passion for pornography began, and that was a coping mechanism for him. I'm so glad Paul is not listening to this right now.
I mean, to be fair, that's even something that happens like now.
Yeah, a lot of people
because it gives you that dopamine.
Yeah,
it gives you that dopamine rush.
Yes, it does. So in 1969, he ended up returning to Washington, where he met Elizabeth Klopfer. I believe that's how you say her name. Elizabeth Klopfer. She's a single mom from Ogden, Utah. Yeah, she's from Ogden, Utah. I can't talk.
Utah. I'm a Utahn.
She
Sorry.
is a single mother from Ogden, Utah, who works as a secretary at the University of Washington School of Medicine. So, single mom, full-time job. She's got it going for her.
Good for her.
So, this relationship between the two of them would last even past his incarceration in 1976.
Damn.
It was a messy relationship. So, he acted as a father figure for her daughter Molly, who was only 3 years old when they started dating. So, like,
Aw.
around the same age when he got a stepfather.
Yeah.
But I'm sure because when he wasn't very close with his stepfather, he didn't want that relationship on his end.
Yeah.
So he tried his best being a father figure for her. Literally stayed in her life until she was 10 when he was arrested.
Oh,
He
but
was
that's
Yeah, he was
that's one
very
thing.
committed. He was very committed to his stepdaughter. Even when Molly became an adult, she wrote about incidents where Bundy was abusive or sexually inappropriate with her. I'm sorry that cuteness got turned over. Yeah,
Oh.
she would get hit in the face, knocked down to the ground. There was a risk of her drowning with him. Indecent exposure and sexual touching disguised as accidents or games.
Great.
Yup.
Perfect. Amazing. Wonderful.
Well, in mid 1970, he felt very focused on his life. He re-enrolled at UW as a psychology major.
Oh, great. So just, yeah,
Yeah.
that's so bad because when you think, so hold on, Ted Bundy, 100% at least antisocial. Probably the
Mhm.
only reason he was not diagnosed with psychopathy is because you have to have a conduct disorder before you're 15 to be diagnosed with
Yes.
psychopathy over 18. That's probably the only
Yes.
reason he wasn't. So going to college for psychology literally just teaches him how to manipulate people better. That's all that does.
Exactly.
That's literally all that does.
Well, in 1971, he started working for Seattle Suicide Hotline. Ironic, huh?
Right.
Yeah. He ended up graduating UW in 72 and joined Governor Daniel J. Evans' reelection campaign, another Republican. Which, you know, I do not swing one way or another. I just follow what I follow. Um, I don't really like talking politics on
Yeah.
the show, but I'm just stating facts at the moment. So please don't get mad
Do
at
with
me for
that what you
saying that.
will.
Yeah, please don't get mad at me for saying that he was supporting Republicans. Like,
That doesn't mean that we do or that
doesn't
we
mean
support the left either. We're just
yeah.
saying that we,
We're not discussing our views. There will be
yeah.
days where like in current events, like if it's something that we feel we need to speak on, we will. But like, I, I'm
We're
literally just
stating
stating the
facts,
facts.
objective
Yeah.
facts, objective
Yeah.
facts.
So in 1973, he went on a business trip to California where he rekindled his relationship with Diane Edwards. Remember, he's with Klopfer right now.
Cheater.
Yes. Oh, and
Cheater
it's not the end.
beater.
Bundy dated both women, the other unbeknownst of the relationship. Yeah. So they didn't know about each other. This man's living a double life. Not the
I
first
mean,
time a situation like this has happened. It still happens to this day. Imagine if he tried to marry both of them. He did not, but
I would
yeah.
hope that he didn't try to marry both of them and then they were like, "Oh yeah," and then they get murdered.
They don't.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you flat out, they are not they're victims of him, but they're not victims of his murder.
Okay. I
Does that
couldn't
make
cuz
sense?
yeah, I just don't know who's like victims. So I was like, I hope they don't like fall
You'll
into his
know.
trap and then get murdered.
No. The I think he loves his stepdaughter too much in ways that I'm not the biggest fan of.
Ew.
But yeah, so he didn't he was closer with his stepdaughter than his stepfather was with him, even though his stepfather tried to have a relationship with him. But it seems he kind of followed in his grandfather's footsteps, is what it sounds like.
Probably. I mean, he really loved his grandfather.
So like after a year of him like having two relationships at once, he just cut off all contact with Diane.
What?
Yeah. I guess maybe like she kind of believed it was a revenge plot since she rejected him last time. Which even then, it's still kind of messed up. Not
I
gonna
mean, I would at
lie.
least be like, I'm done with you. Don't just disappear.
Yeah. So he began skipping classes, and by April, he stopped going to them completely. He still takes like a couple classes here and there, even though he is graduated. Just because, you can always take a college class after you graduate if you just want a little extra education. Just gotta pay for
Yeah.
it. And once he stopped going to classes, women began to disappear in the Pacific Northwest.
Great.
So, when it comes to his first murders, we are unsure as to when or where he began. He
Okay.
hinted different things to many, but none of them were confirmed. His earliest documented homicides are in 1974, which is, like I said, about the time where he left Edwards, he stopped going to classes.
Hmm.
He also claimed to murder a few in New Jersey when he was on the East Coast in 1969. We don't know, because a lot of times,
To think that my grandmother could have been walking around with Ted Bundy.
yeah.
That's horrifying.
I don't know where in New Jersey.
That's icky.
Yeah. Well,
That
I'm gonna
scares me.
say I would assume more North Jersey, like Newark area, just because he was like in and out of New York City.
Maybe.
So, but still, for all we know, he committed some crimes here,
Great.
which is like kind of scary to think about that he was over here. But most of his crimes were committed in the Pacific Northwest. So his murder spree is, whew, we're about to get into it.
Okay.
It's going to be a lot. We're about to move fast.
Okay.
So, shortly after January 4th, 1974, Bundy entered the home of 18-year-old Karen Sparks. She was a dancer and student at UW. The way your eyes just bugged out when I said dancer.
It's always freaking dancers, bruh.
Well, they're not all dancers. I think just this first one,
I
actually.
know. I feel like
So,
dancers are always murdered.
oh, believe me, I could cover a lot of dancers if I wanted to. That's just too much. I'll
Anyway.
probably cover them eventually. So he hit her with a metal rod from her bed frame and sexually assaulted her with the same rod.
One, how did he get the bed rod? Like, was it just not screwed in?
I mean, he was kind of strong. He did have, I think he had some strength to him. I
Maybe
mean,
the bed was made out of wood. I don't know.
but I said it's a metal rod.
Oh. Yeah, you did.
Is he asleep back there?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then you're going to start telling your story and he might wake up.
Maybe.
But yeah, so because of him doing that, it caused extensive internal injuries and ruptured her bladder.
Ow.
She was unconscious in the hospital for 10 days.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, but
That's
she
gotta be so
survived.
painful.
She survived. But she was left
Good.
with permanent brain damage with significant loss of hearing and vision. He hit her in the head that hard that it messed up her eardrums and her optic nerve.
That poor girl.
I know, and she gets to say I survived Ted Bundy though.
She does.
Exactly. So early on February 1st, Bundy broke into 21-year-old Linda Ann Healy's home, who was a UW undergrad. He beat her until she was unconscious, dressed her in blue jeans, a white blouse, boots, and carried her away.
So he just took her away.
Yes. So he drove to a secluded area where he ended up raping and murdering her.
Okay.
It's just, this is, whew. So the first half of 1974, female college students disappeared at a rate of about one per month.
Great.
Like imagine you're going to
I would be
school and
horrified.
on March 12th, Donna Gail Manson, no relation to the Manson family as far as I know.
Okay.
She was a 19-year-old student at Evergreen State College in Olympia. She left her dorm for a concert, and she never made it there. She never made it to the concert. Which, like,
That would be
damn, you
sad.
spent money on that concert.
Yeah, I would be
like,
salty.
Okay.
Hopefully it was a good
So,
concert.
Bundy claimed that he burned her skull down to the last ash
Great.
in a fit of paranoia and cleanliness. What does that mean?
He was probably paranoid they were gonna find the body,
I think
and
so.
then cleanliness, he probably low key might have just hated having
It was a mess.
bones.
Yeah.
OCD.
Well,
Maybe he was OCD.
he might have had OCD. So on April 17th, literally a month and 5 days later, Susan Elaine Rancourt, who was an 18-year-old student at Central Washington State College in Ellensburg, disappeared while on her way to her dorm after an evening advisors meeting. So she was literally just with a trusted adult.
Yeah.
I mean, she's also an adult, but you know what I mean.
But yeah.
2 female students claimed they saw a man in a sling who was asking for help carrying books on the night of Rancourt's disappearance in a brown or tan Volkswagen Beetle.
Whoa, Ted Bundy's Beetle.
Exactly. On May 6th, Roberta Kathleen Parks, age 22, left her dorm at Oregon State University in Corvallis to meet with some friends at the Memorial Union and never arrived. Bundy claims he saw her in the cafeteria and invited her to go to a bar with him. Once in his car, tied and gagged Parks and drove her back to Washington to kill her, raping her 2 times on the way there.
Great.
Like, he specifically crossed state borders to rape and kill her.
Why? He just like wanted to be in a different state.
Maybe
it's so it looked
lived
like
in
it wasn't
Washington.
some.
He
I was gonna say
living
maybe
in Washington.
So oh well, then it's weird.
Yeah,
Because wouldn't you want to do that in like a state you don't live?
Listen, we live in a society where people are just not the brightest, including us. So I
It's
cannot
okay.
answer that for you. On June 1st, Brenda Carol Ball, age 22, disappeared after leaving the Flame Tavern in Burien, which is near Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. She was seen in the parking lot talking to a brown-haired man with his arm in a sling.
Gee, I'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah, that was his signature, walking up to them in a sling. Bundy stated he brought Ball back to his place where they had consensual sex before strangling her while sleeping.
At least he got consent.
I hope that he got consent.
He probably didn't.
Yeah. So there was also damage to her skull that he never explained. So gee,
I wonder.
Do you know what all these women have in common?
Brown hair.
Young, attractive, white females in college with long, dark hair parted down the middle.
So, you know, that girl that he,
Diane Edwards and Klopfer.
Yeah.
So yeah, they all had a specific look that he went after, which that was his other signature, his victim signature.
It was probably because of Diane.
He was hurt.
Yeah.
So in the early hours of June 11th, Georgianne Hawkins went missing between the route of her boyfriend's dorm and her sorority in a brightly lit alleyway. Like, how? So the next morning, 3 Seattle homicide detectives and a criminalist combed through the entire alley and found nothing. It was like she vanished. No tire
She didn't drop
marks,
anything?
No, she didn't drop anything. He didn't drop anything, which, I mean, serial killers don't usually lose their things because they're very particular. But yeah, there was no identification at all. Bundy told reporters that he lured Hawkins into his car and knocked her unconscious with a crowbar, handcuffed her in the car, drove to Issaquah, I think that's what it says, Issaquah, and strangled her and had relations.
My gosh, I don't understand how people do that.
So you want to know why they didn't find anything?
Why?
So he went back to the alley the next day during the investigation and grabbed her earrings and shoe where he left them completely unnoticed.
Oh. Great. So they just didn't do their job?
I don't think they found it. Maybe they were like kind of hidden, but like he literally
But
went
still,
into
your
a crime scene.
job. Your job is to look everywhere.
Corey, things make me angry. We just covered John Benet Ramsey like 2 weeks ago.
You know.
It's so during this time, Bundy was working in Olympia as the assistant director of the Seattle Crime Prevention Advisory Committee.
It's because he had this tactic. He obviously
He
was
has
doing it on
access.
purpose.
He has
No,
access.
he was probably doing it on purpose to make it seem like he
He
would
is.
never be the one to do this stuff.
Corey, he literally is.
He's so smart.
You're spoiling my story.
I'm sorry. I just am a critical thinker, okay?
I know. He also he wrote a pamphlet for women on rape prevention as yeah.
He's probably making that shit bad on purpose.
I know. I freaking. So he later on he worked at the Department of Emergency Services aiding in the search for missing women. I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh.
This is so stupid.
We're like I got like one more page and then I'm done with this part.
Okay.
So while he was at the DES, he met and began dating Carol Ann Boone. She was now he's as far as I know, he didn't break up with Elizabeth. So he's doing this like double life thing again.
He's just cheating on everybody.
Yeah. So Carol Ann Boone, a 2 times divorced mother of 2, who plays a crucial role in the final parts of his life 6 years later. So this is also a character we do not want to forget.
Okay.
So once the disappearances flooded the news, fear spread throughout Washington and Oregon, of course, like being just like
obviously.
a single white female. Not even all of them single. It's just any like high school, college girl, even though he wasn't targeting high school girls, I would still be nervous, be like, shit, I'm almost old enough for him. He may not even know I'm not old enough.
Yeah.
But he was also going through college campuses. So most of the time they're of legal age, but that's still not.
That doesn't make it better.
No. So lots of physical evidence stumped officers. Gee, I wonder why. It's not like he's going to the crime scenes and trying to help them. So police wouldn't give reporters any information as they had little to nothing themselves.
Great.
Yeah. So
maybe do our jobs.
Yeah. The similarities between the victims include disappear typically at night, usually near ongoing construction, women wearing slacks or blue jeans at the time of their disappearance, and a man in a sling or cast driving a brown or tan Volkswagen Beetle. That was it. That was the only way they could connect them. So, July 14th, 2 women were abducted in broad daylight at Lake Sammamish State Park. So 4 witnesses described an attractive young man wearing a white tennis outfit with his left arm in a sling, speaking with a light accent, which could be considered Canadian or British. Okay.
Why? What?
I don't know, but they said he had a light accent. So he introduced himself as Ted. This is like when we actually first start calling him Ted Bundy instead of Theodore.
Yeah.
So he was asking for help unloading a sailboat from his Volkswagen Beetle. Why did he have a sailboat in there? I don't know. Don't ask me. He just did.
He wanted to have it.
Mm-hmm. So 3 of them refused, but one, accompanied to him in his car, saw there was no boat and ran away. That person had a big brain.
Wish people had common sense.
So 3 more witnesses saw Ted approach Janice Ann Ott, a 23-year-old probation caseworker for King County Juvenile Court. He approached her with the sailboat story, and she left the beach with him. So that's one victim. Around 4 hours later, Denise Marie Nosland, a 19-year-old studying computer programming, left a picnic to go to the bathroom and never came back. Which, like, okay. So Bundy claimed that he forced one to watch as he assaulted and killed the other, but later denied on the eve of his execution. Like, you're really gonna take this back, dude?
You can't take something like that
You
back.
can't take something like that back. King County Police finally had enough info to have a detailed description of their suspect and posted flyers throughout Seattle. Elizabeth Klopfer, a DES employee and a UW professor, they all recognized the suspect and car and reported Bundy as the suspect. So, like, she's like, I think my boyfriend is on your wanted list.
Imagine coming to that conclusion though, how horrifying
Right?
that has to be.
Like, I don't want to. He's fucking asleep right now. I feel so bad. But imagine if, like, Paul was on, like, FBI's Most Wanted, and you had to, like, would you turn him in? Like, what do you do?
Bonnie and Clyde, that shit.
Oh shit. Okay. You heard it here, folks.
No, I
didn't
kidding.
have
I'm
anything to do with
kidding.
this.
I'm kidding.
As we just did Bonnie and Clyde last week. So, police ended up receiving up to 200 tips per day. Thought it would be unlikely a clean-cut law student with no criminal record could be the perpetrator. But his literal girlfriend said, "Hey, I think my boyfriend's, like, killing people." Okay, like, what?
Why are we not taking that seriously?
So on September 6th, two hunters came across the skeletal remains of Ott and Noslin from the beach.
Yeah.
Near a service road in Issaquah. An extra femur and several vertebrae were found at the site, which Bundy later identified as Hawkins, one of his earlier victims. But, like,
Great.
gross?
We just kept them.
Well, he dumped them there, and I guess he was, like, trying to find a spot for them or something. I don't fucking know. 6 months later, forestry students from Green River Community College discovered the skulls and mandibles of Healy, Rancourt, Parks, and Ball on Taylor Mountain, where Bundy frequently hiked. Manson's remains were never found. And next week, we will be going over the rest of his reign.
Great.
Because he still has a couple years.
Yeah. Amazing.
We
Love
are still
it.
only in 1974. So that is my tea, half of the tea on Ted Bundy. How do you feel?
See, I already knew Ted Bundy, but like
Everyone does.
like serial killers, there's like different categories of why they kill. And like one of the main categories is thrill. Like they like that dopamine rush.
Yeah.
So he probably liked. I could whip out my notebook. I'm not gonna whip out my notebook.
Please don't.
But
we don't have time for that.
But like he probably liked the thrill, and he probably received. The reason he raped them was probably because he received sexual gratification from like seeing them in pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ew. Well, that's my tea.
My tea.
Oh, this is the one you wanted to do last week, right?
Yeah. But my tea is always. I feel like my tea is always less like entertaining than yours.
Okay, but you're not talking about like murder.
Yeah, I feel like there's less like exciting elements.
Like I can joke about your stuff.
Yeah,
it's kind of
a lot less
to joke about mine.
Yeah, there's a lot less entertaining, like exciting elements to paranormal stuff. I'm just like telling stories.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
When we get into like vampires.
Oh, vampires?
We'll see when I do them. But I do have them on my list.
I thought that was. Yeah, I saw you updated your list. You put through a lot in there.
Yeah. I got excited one day.
I could tell. I cannot wait for you to do the Winchester Mystery House.
Yeah, Sarah Winchester, where she would not stop building.
Oh, that story is gonna be so good. There's like, I don't know a lot.
But I know, like, I already know a lot about that story.
I know enough. Like, I don't know a lot of paranormal. I don't. Which is why I like you doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot about it already.
Yeah. You know,
I can always learn more.
Exactly.
Anyway,
all right.
The one
hit me.
The one I wanted to do last week, I told you already, We're just doing it a week late.
Yes.
But I missed the actual week of Valentine's Day. But it's totally fine. We're gonna
It's
do it this week.
fine.
We're gonna do it this week anyway, because why not? So I mentioned to you that I wanted to do Valentine's Day love rituals.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go through. I'm only gonna go through 3,
Okay.
because you know. But we're
Time.
gonna start in Victorian. So I
Mm-hmm.
have 2 Victorian ones, and then I have one that's more modern. So I totally lost my train of thought. What?
Oh my god.
You can cut this part out.
I usually do.
My brain just stopped working. So actually, I don't know if you know this, but the Victorian era is like one of my favorite eras of history. So that's why I wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
like Victorian
So makes
era
sense.
things. So I had some like prior knowledge of this because I do deep dives on like Victorian history
Yeah.
all the time. But I obviously wanted to delve further into it. But actually, like I've talked to a lot of people. Apparently most people like to think that the Victorian era, like people were like very strict and like they didn't believe in like that sort of thing. Like they thought that it
No,
was
they
just like,
definitely did.
but
They
like
they definitely did.
obviously some people know that like that's not true, but like a widespread of people think because it was like over a century ago that like witch hunting was like still a thing. Witch hunting was not a thing
No, that
back
died
then,
out
like
by then.
centuries before then.
Eh, that's not exactly true.
In that like area,
Oh, okay. Yeah. It was Victorian was like late 1700s, right? No.
the Victorian era was 1837 to 1901.
Okay. So
Yeah.
like it was mostly died out by then, but there were definitely like some
There were
areas that were
still.
still like not that area. No.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. My bad.
But it's like not as long ago in history as you'd think.
No.
So like it's still fairly like recent in history. So they were like actually more open to spirituality and like divination than like a lot of people like think.
Mhm. Listen, this was the CL Phantom Hive era. So the
So
Black Butler era, which
during this,
literally one of
so
my favorite animes. Sorry,
I love
sorry,
Black
sorry.
Butler. No, I
I
do
need to
love Black.
rewatch it. I like
I love it.
rewatch it like once a year, and I think I'm hitting the point where I gotta rewatch it.
I love Black Butler.
We should watch it
But
together.
oh, Paul's gone.
Yeah, which is so
Um,
soon.
so during the Victorian era, there was a crossroads of intense religious belief, an exploding interest in spiritualism, a fear of death due to the high mortality rates, and a strict romantic repression. So people often found themselves in seclusion of their own homes, trying divination to either find clarity about religion or to gain a sense of certainty that they have a future that is acceptable for the standards of the era.
Damn.
So mirror rituals were very popular because they didn't need extra supplies that would draw attention to you or what you might be doing, like alone in your home. Like they were very self-centered practices, so it didn't draw attention. So no one was going to judge you back then.
Mhm.
So mirrors at the time were considered to be soul reflectors, spirit thresholds, and truth-revealing objects. And Valentine's Eve was considered a liminal night when emotional longing made the mind and possibly the spirit more receptive to these spiritual calls. So this specific Victorian ritual is called Bloody Valentine. Um,
Hmm. That's where that comes from. I've heard
sort
that
of,
term before.
sort of.
Okay, well,
Um,
there's different meanings between My Bloody Valentine and whatnot.
yeah.
Mhm.
But this one is called Bloody Valentine Love Divination Ritual. That's what there were literally books in the Victorian era that had like rituals in them.
Yeah.
And it was literally listed in them as Bloody Valentine Love Divination Ritual. So
No, thank you.
most versions follow the following structure. So they're performed alone, late at night, usually at midnight, in near or total darkness with one candle and facing a mirror. So usually the individual would be slowly combing their hair, peeling an apple, and or washing their hands in silence. You were told to think of no one living nor dead. So you literally had to like clear your brain and just look in the mirror.
Can I pause you just for 1 second? I want to
Yeah.
see if it's already on the notes list. but I just had one come to mind. Not on here, I think. Bloody Mary.
Oh, yeah, Bloody Mary's not on there because she freaks me out.
Aw, but I would have loved if you covered it.
I'll think about it.
It's on the list. The reason we just have the list is so like we can keep track of things we've already done.
Yeah, I'll
Like
think about it, maybe.
I need to add the backlog that's not on there that I did like prior to making that list because I made that list after I did like 90% of the ones on my iPad right now.
Yeah, Bloody Mary freaks me out. I used to get like scared at night going to the bathroom when I was a kid.
Bloody Mary.
Stop!
Bloody Mary.
Don't say it again.
I'm not in the mirror. We're fine. Oh wait, I do have a reflective surface right there, but the lights are on, so it's not gonna work.
Okay.
You need, yeah, like I think you're supposed. I'm not.
Everyone does it differently, but we can stop talking about it now.
Guys, I don't think Corey's ever gonna cover Bloody Mary unless I do it for her.
She freaks me out, man.
But I think that would freak you out more if I covered it.
Yeah, we're not doing Bloody Mary.
Oh, someone's awake.
Hi. What are you doing? Oh, bye. Close the door. Thanks. I love you.
Where is he going?
To the bathroom.
Oh, he's got to take a little poopy?
I don't know if it's a poopy. Anyway, back to anyway. So the goal.
He's gonna listen to this when he gets back from boot camp. Be like,
he's gonna hear that and be like, "What the fuck?
Did I?"
Okay.
I'm
anyway,
gonna text being like, "Yes, I did."
Anyway, the goal of this ritual was to see the face of one's future spouse appear over their shoulder or within the glass.
What the fuck?
Okay, so first,
sorry,
what?
That just sounds like the mirror of Erised from Harry Potter. Like that, it shows you your most desired thing.
Oh yeah, maybe.
And Harry's parents were standing behind his shoulders.
Yeah.
Obviously. That's what it sounds like.
So obviously this ritual isn't too crazy because it's a specific Valentine's Day one. I'm going to go into like other ones that are like more paranormal, more crazy.
Okay.
But like I just did Valentine's ones first. Mm-hmm. So first you had to pick the date. So most did it very later hours of February 13th or the very early hours of the 14th. But you could also do it if you were menstruating or in a more biologically emotional state. You were supposed to be in like an emotionally charged state. And they considered so like menstruating like emotionally charged.
Yes, you are bleeding out of yourself. Yeah. Like, you are shedding an internal organ. I think that's emotional enough.
Yeah, basically what they said. So, earlier in the evening of the night you wish to perform the ritual, the participant, who is almost always a young unmarried woman, was expected to remain quiet and introspective, avoid alcohol or heavy food, and avoid speaking about the ritual because silence was said to thin the inner veil. So basically, you were supposed to remain.
They wanted women to shut up.
Maybe. They definitely would have wanted me to shut up.
Like, oh, me too. All we do is rap. I feel like this ritual was written by a man. Because I don't know, were women allowed to write in this era? Like,
yes, a little bit.
I'm kidding.
Besides that, you could also prepare by washing your hands and face before midnight and wearing loose night clothes or white fabric to symbolize purity and openness.
But you're on your period. You sure you want to wear white?
Most people did it on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, fair.
Fair. So,
but still, I wouldn't want to wear white on my period. Like,
that's their choice, man.
Yeah, they definitely also like period products during that era were
ass. They were ass. Yeah,
literally.
So, the room had to be completely dark except for one candle, free of religious symbols, and absolutely private. So the mirror was usually a hand mirror or a dressing mirror, and it was uncovered only at the moment of the ritual. So it had to be covered with some form of cloth until the ritual began.
Makes
So you
sense.
weren't allowed to look into that specific mirror until you wanted to do
Hmm.
it that day. So you were supposed to begin at exactly midnight on Valentine's Eve, or whichever day like you were choosing to do it, because it was neither one day nor the next, and the moment when the future was closest to the present. Because you're supposed to be looking at your future spouse,
Yeah.
so you want to be closest to the future, but still in the
Hmm.
present. It was weird. The participants sat or stood directly facing the mirror, and the candle was placed either behind them or slightly to the side, but never directly in front of them. You never just stared into the mirror either. That was considered dangerous. You had to do some sort of action, but it didn't have to be specific. Most people just chose like to brush your hair slowly. Some peeled an apple. Some people just washed their hands over and over. You didn't have to do something specific, but it had to be repetitive that could keep your mind and your body like focused. So like
Okay.
you
Makes
just
sense.
had to do something repetitively. And the idea was to occupy the body so that the mind could drift. That's literally all you had to do. That was literally it.
Okay.
And then the image was supposed to appear behind you. So when the image appeared, participants stated the person appeared behind them, over the shoulder, or slowly forming where the face should be. So it should be a clear human face or a blurred or shifting human. It could be darkness swallowing the image, but that was meant to be as a warning. So
Okay.
like it either had to be a face or, a little bit blurred of a face. Anything else? No, no. So like if it was like darkness, a face, and there was just darkness coming over the face, it didn't mean anything besides be cautious of who you marry.
Oh, okay. Because like this is not like a soulmate reader. This is just who you're gonna marry.
Yeah. And then you were
Okay.
not supposed to turn around because looking away broke the ritual and possibly invited an attachment. If you saw a faceless shadow, it meant you would never marry. So if you saw a shadow that just didn't have a
Oh.
face, it would mean you would never marry. If you saw
I feel
a,
like I wouldn't. I don't know if I would want to know or not want to know.
I wouldn't want to know.
I don't. I don't know. I don't think I. But like, then again, like, if you did know, you could just live your life as a spinster. That the technical term during that time was a spinster. But
Yeah.
like, you would just know. So you're like, all right, time to go get a job. Like,
Yeah. I wouldn't want to know. I feel like I would be sad.
like, but you can instead of just waiting your whole life, and then finding out like on your deathbed, like, fuck, I never got married.
Yeah, that'd be really sad.
I don't know. It could go either way.
I think it's just up to personal preference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, anyway, if you saw a skull instead of a human face, or if a coffin shape formed, it was said that you would die before you got married.
Well, like, doesn't that kind of go with the faceless shadow thing?
The faceless shadow is that you would never get married, so you would just never have a spouse.
Oh, but like the coffin would be like you'd be engaged, about to get a spouse, kind of thing.
Like a skull would just be like you would die before you got the chance to get married, whether you died before you had a partner, died while you were engaged, you would just die before you had the chance to get married.
Damn. That's also
Yeah,
sad. I
yeah,
wouldn't want to know that either.
me
That
either.
one I definitely would not want to know.
So you did have to end the ritual, which is often skipped. A lot of people forget. Like
Ugh.
back then, they would forget to close it. Um, the proper ending was to
You
extinguish the
always
candle.
close a ritual.
Always, always. The proper ending was to extinguish the candle, but you could not blow, so you had to like wave or like get it to blow out somehow. Or the candle extinguishers, you could use one of those, but you could not
Hmm.
use,
You cannot blow it out
yeah.
because that would be
Then you,
considered you looking away.
yeah. Then you had to cover the mirror immediately. So you had to continue looking in the mirror and cover it. Then, and only then, could you leave the room without looking back. So you had to turn and leave the room and you couldn't turn over your shoulder and look. You just had to walk out.
Got it.
If you did not close the mirror, it is said you would experience reoccurring dreams, fixation on the image, and feelings of being watched. Warnings did appear in Victorian sermons and books that included that you should perform it only once, so never more than once. Never speak during the ritual, so you had to be silent, and never let the candle go out. Never look behind you, and then never look behind you after the vision appears.
Makes sense. All of that. Also, like the never do it again. Like you have your answer. It's not
Yeah.
gonna change.
Maybe somebody was in denial.
Yeah, maybe.
So, supposed consequences of this are long term melancholy, obsession with the image, prophetic dreams that wouldn't stop, and loosening of the spirit.
That all
So, to,
tracks.
yeah. So, basically, they did not ask the mirror whenever they wanted. They waited for the nights when the future was already awake, basically. The next one is still a Valentine's ritual, technically. It's not exactly Valentine's, but it is a love one. But it's a little bit more gross.
Okay.
So the next one is a blood witness binding ritual.
I'm sorry. What?
Blood witness binding ritual. Also, I'm prefacing this. Do not do these rituals, please. Even
I
though
don't
I'm
want to know what this one is.
even though I even though I'm explaining how to do these rituals, please don't do them.
Yeah,
Please don't.
please. I don't want to catch a case. Any kind of
So
case. I don't want to catch a case. I already got enough in my life going on.
this ritual appears in European folk magic, especially in Britain and Ireland, Eastern Europe, and Caribbean folk traditions. So, across cultures, blood was believed to contain life force, ancestral memory, spiritual signature, and identity. So, in spiritual terms, blood was a proof of existence, and then in paranormal terms, it was an energetic beacon.
Okay.
So, the ritual was believed to be most potent on Valentine's Day due to collective emotional focus on love, love energy in the air, and heightened vulnerability, or on liminal times or nights such as midnight, new moon, All Hallows Eve, and St. Agnes's Eve. Um, St. Agnes's Eve is celebrated on January 20th. It's the night before the feast of St. Agnes, who was martyred in the 4th century.
I don't know that story.
I think it's like an Irish thing.
Maybe I'll cover it one day.
Maybe. I don't know.
Is
Pe-
that true crime? I don't freaking know. Can
I don't know. I'll
saints
have
be
to look
true
it up.
crime? Yeah, that one's weird.
Yeah. So people were told not to perform this ritual unless they were desperate, they felt abandoned, or they were convinced they were meant to be together because the ritual felt like forcing fate. So the setup was always described as intentionally private and quiet, meant to isolate the person from social reality. You had to perform it in a dark room, in candlelight or moonlight, in silence and alone, and with minimal distractions. So it either had to be in a dark room, in the candlelight, or it had to be done outside in the
Hmm.
moonlight, but somewhere specifically like closed off. So you had to have a small vessel or a symbolic cloth, an object belonging to the target, such as a lock of hair or a personal item, and a witness element, such as a mirror, a threshold like a doorway, a crossroad, or a graveyard boundary. The most crucial component was the belief that something beyond the human world had to see the act, so the unseen keeps the contracts that the living forget. So even if you forget, whatever witness you have will keep
Yeah.
that. So basically, in the most simple versions, the individual would cause themselves to bleed and then either let it drip onto or be smeared onto the personal object of the target. Um, the intent was the most important part. So while the act is simple, the thoughts, intentions, and what you desire is what drive the ritual home. So you were basically smearing your life, like your existence, and your
Hmm.
beacon into the person's like personal belongings to sear yourself into that person's life.
I don't know how to feel about that.
So the most common belief was that the blood was used as a seal on a personal object connected to the target, thus sealing yourself into that person's life and fate. Some took it a step further by tying a knot with the personal object after the blood was applied, or tying their own object into the target's object after blood was applied. And then, in order to close the spiritual threshold, the participant had to acknowledge the ritual had ended, the witness had to be thanked or appeased, and the blood connection had to be symbolically sealed. If it was not closed properly, obsessive fixation, spiritual leakage or hauntings, and emotional collapse would occur. So, the paranormal belief was that the ritual created a non physical tether, causing the target appearing in dreams, intrusive thoughts, sensing the person's presence, repeated coincidences and synchronicities, sudden emotional pulls toward the person, and feeling watched or called. The bond could continue even if the relationship ended, the person died, or if the bond was unwanted. This was considered a soul level bond, so it was unaffected by like even mortal death because you bled onto their object, you sealed themselves
Mhm.
into their life. Even if one of you dies, the one living is still gonna be stuck on the person that died. So people warned against this ritual for various reasons. So you could suffer from attachment that outlived the love, the bond controlling the binder. So like the bond would control the person who did it, spiritual fatigue or soul weight, and nightmares or night terrors. A shadow of the person could follow the binder, repetitive hauntings of emotional memories, and a sense of being trapped in a cycle could begin. So a blood witness binding was not like a spell to make someone love you. It was literally like a vow that the universe would just refuse to let that person go. So even if you guys didn't love each other anymore,
I get it.
you were just stuck there.
So there be no divorce with this blood ritual.
Oh, you could
You are
not love each
bound
other.
together forever. I
You
said
could
there's
get a
no
divorce.
divorce. Not in their terms.
Oh, not in the soul's terms. Physically,
Yeah.
you could split up. You could hate each other. You could hate each other's guts. You could even die. But you're stuck with that person forever.
In one way or another.
So that one was kind of gross.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of blood, even though I cover fucking murders all the time, but
Yeah. Like I said,
I'm not trying to picture it.
these ones are kind of boring because they're like just love rituals.
Hmm.
But there's like a lot of rituals that are like more paranormal that are kind of like
Oh
actually
yeah.
genuinely creepy. Like they're disgustingly creepy.
Oh, definitely.
They like make me
Like
want to
Bloody Mary.
stop.
I have to torture you. It's my job.
Anyway, so like there's not like very many modern like versions of rituals for love now, right?
No, there's not.
But there is one thing that people really, really love to do now.
Is it soulmate drawings?
No,
I've been seeing a lot of people trying to get their like soulmate drawings from a psychic.
yeah, no. It's
I
just,
personally, I don't like that one.
no, it's gross. But if you would like to call it a ritual, manifestation.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can call that a ritual, but
It's like
just
modern days
entertain me.
version.
Entertain
So
me. Tell me
the
why it's
reason
a modern
why,
day ritual.
because basically what people used to do with blood, because they would try and bind the person to themselves with blood, is now done with like binding them with your like words, basically. So like if you believe in manifestation, right? You'll sit and you'll like write like your little scripts. You'll sit and you'll like put people's names in the freezer and stuff. Like like
The
you're
fact that
basic
people actually do that, though, like, I'm not judging anyone who believes in manifestation. I am a person that says if you believe it, it will happen. If you talk about it, it will happen.
yeah, but people are literally like trying to seal people into their lives by what they consider
Yeah, I don't like that.
manifestation.
I don't
That's
like
why
that.
I think manifestation is what would be the closest thing we have to like a modern day. Like,
Yeah, that makes sense. Because a lot of people are like being like, I want this person to love me.
and they'll
And I'm like,
literally go
that's kind
like
of
it's
fucked
so
up.
weird, but um there's a lot of different like ways that modern manifestation, is done. So the most common is scripting or writing the future, where people write out future love stories as if it's already true. So they often write things such as, I am in a loving relationship, I feel safe, they love me, I deserve this. There's the vision boards on Pinterest.
I was gonna say that sounds like fan fiction, but okay.
Yeah.
So like
There's the
everyone who
vision.
writes fan fiction is manifesting their relationship with like any person. That's pretty nice.
um so vision boards are like a collage of images that represent the desired
Hmm.
partner, life, home, and feelings. And then there's like candle magic. Some people still use their blood.
Ugh,
So
I
that's
don't like
another reason why it's
blood.
still in here, because people will use like red and pink candles to represent blood or love, and they'll drip their own blood onto it and be like,
That is so gross. I'm sorry. I realized I've been like gagging and fake throwing up this whole episode. So if anyone who's listening that has what is that called? Emetophobia?
emetophobia.
I feel so bad. I'm sorry. Please don't hate me. I'll stop. But I truly I hate blood. I'm not good with it. Like my own blood, I don't know why. Like if I like cut myself, I'm fine. But
Yeah.
like my mom, like a year or so ago, she was trying to read something on the food processor and she she put it upside down and the blade fell out and she instinctively caught it. So she had to get six stitches in her thumb and I was in the room with her and my mom and I are both very hard to numb, so she winced in pain. So I looked up and I just see the needle going through her thumb and I like the doctor's back is to me, so she has no idea that I'm about to like literally pass out in the room
Ew.
until she's completely done with my mom. And my mom just looks at me and she's like, I like we know I'm white as fuck, so there's never really any color in my face, but like apparently my lips went like white.
Ew.
Yeah, I was about to pass out. Like my like joints like were shaking so much like they locked up. I couldn't like they handed me a water bottle and I physically could not hold it.
Ew.
I was holding it like this with both my hands, just like basically pressing together.
I think Paul wants me to be done soon.
I think he wants to go to bed.
Yeah. I'm gonna speed run the last stuff I
Do
have
it.
about manifestation. So I'm gonna literally read exactly what I have on my
I'll try to shut
notes
up.
that are meant to guide me.
That's
No,
what
you're
I did
good.
when I had to rush through it. So,
But even if these methods don't include blood or crazy spiritualistic elements, they hold consequences. So manifestation can turn into obsession when it becomes desperate. It demands a specific person, it ignores consent, and it refuses to accept reality. That's when it resembles a psychic binding, not a spiritual practice. So modern day consequences are that of obsession, anxiety, constant checking, hyperfixation on one person, ignoring red flags, and believing the universe is blocking you from achieving your goals. That's why it's on here for the ritual thing, because when they
mhm.
take it that far, it becomes more of like a psychic, like,
Makes
and not
sense.
like a spiritual practice. So there's two examples. So on Reddit, multiple users have shared stories of people who tried to manifest a specific person back into their life, and it significantly disrupted both people's lives. One post described a man who tried to get their partner back in their life. He became obsessed and wouldn't leave her alone, became a stalker. This eventually led to him ending up driving past her home and staying fixated on her long after the relationship ended. The situation became serious enough that a restraining order was involved and reportedly affected his career and mental health. The person on the receiving end said they never felt the same way and were uncomfortable, but the manifesting person continued to believe they were spiritually meant to be, leading to ongoing distress on both sides.
Ew.
So, in a different online story, a person shared that after manifesting a romantic situation, actively visualizing someone, thinking about them constantly, and scripting scenarios, they ended up in a relationship that became unhealthy. So, the partner became obsessive in return, the dynamic became intrusive and unsettling, and the poster later said they regretted how they went about visualizing or carried out their intention, feeling it backfired instead of becoming a healthy connection.
Oh,
And then
that's sad.
some people describe a psychological manifestation effect where they become fixated on a desired outcome, like a relationship, interpreting every event or coincidence as signs, and become increasingly emotionally distressed when reality didn't match the expectation. So even modern day iterations of like spiritual practices or rituals have consequences despite them seeming like less involved or like dangerous. than ones from the past because they're not dripping blood onto things and they're not like staring into mirrors, but like they're effectively doing the same thing just like without objects.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then just so you know, also don't ever try to force someone to be your partner. If you take anything from my rituals, because the love rituals are kind of more boring than spooky ones, if you take anything, just take the lesson that it's not worth forcing someone to be your partner. It takes away their autonomy and their ability to consent. So just accept that somebody doesn't want you.
Yeah. We all know rejection sucks, but like the chase isn't worth it.
It's
If they say
disgusting.
no, they say no. They're not going to change their mind. And if they want to be chased, they're that I don't want to be chased like that.
That's like some sort of primal kink or something.
Yeah, which no, thank you.
Anyway, next week I'm going back into the spirit world, so more
Ooh.
entertainment
Yeah, now you got to
than
do part 2
this.
next week.
Woo woo. Okay, let's wrap this up so my boyfriend doesn't kill me.
Yeah, I'm still recovering. What did he say?
He said it's fine, but I feel bad. I also really want my milkshake.
Oh yeah, go get your milkshake. All right. Um. So socials. You can follow me on Instagram at kelly.marie.709 or Corey at corinne.edwina. Edwina? Edwina. I always say
Edwina.
it wrong. Edwina. I'm sorry. Um. I always say it wrong. So corinne.edwina. And or you can
Or it
follow the podcast Instagram. Sorry,
that's
go
just
ahead.
let's
Your
spill the
social
tea
media
pod. You can do it.
or
I'm just
or I was just trying to wrap it up for you.
you're good.
Or you can email us suggestions, your own stories, any comments, anything you want to tell us at lstt.pod@gmail.com. We will most
YouTube.
likely read emails. Oh yes, we are on YouTube now. Finally, as we're recording this, it technically came out when episode 3 came out. This is episode 6. We are on YouTube right now, which is just Let's Spill the Tea. Um, you can find us there as well, which I'm sure some of you are already listening there because we already got views for it. Yeah, we would probably read the email more than our DMs. So if you do want to contact us, please use our email. I usually always have it open anyway, just making sure nothing new came in, like anyone trying to hack our accounts. But yeah, we spilled that tea.
Goodbye.
Bye.